Unsolved.
JonBenet Ramsey case, the intruder's steps that night. This episode follows the movements of an intruder that Christmas night. And so the intruder was either friendly or very familiar with the Ramseys, like Susan Stein, or the housekeeper, or maybe a babysitter, or the intruder was an associate, somebody from John Ramsey's work, like Jeff Merrick, Sandra Henderson, or maybe somebody that Patsy knew through the pageants that had been to the house. And then the last category would be a stranger, like maybe a neighbor, somebody from the college, somebody from the outside that never had been in the house, or the Ramseys weren't aware that they had been into the house. Next, I wanted to present the layout of the house. So here's the first floor, and to the right of the screen is the front of the house along 15th Street. Okay, and then to the left of the screen is the back alleyway and would be the west side of the house. And then up above is the north side and below is the south side. And so when I show you these photographs, I'm going to say either the front of the house or the east side or the west side or the south side or the north side. So let's begin. Okay, our first three pictures are from the east side of the house and the front of the house. So here's the front. Okay, and then this next photo is from December 26th, that night when they wheeled JonBenet's dead body out of the house. Okay, and then shortly thereafter, or just before, here's another photograph of the front of the house. Okay, our next photograph is going to be from the back of the house, or the west side. And it starts off with the garage. So here's a picture looking at the garage. And so that would be kind of to the left of the house. Now this photograph is from the back alley looking to 15th Street to the front. And that car is parked on 15th Street pointing north. It looks like it's from the side of the house, but it's from the west side, the back of the house. And just look, that's why I put the illustration and the photo together so you can see. Now this photo, it's really clear to see what direction it's from. It's the south side of the house. And if you just look right above it on the illustration, you can see the door and then the study. And so that's that area. Now the next photograph here is from the south side of the house, and it's the dining room. Now everything is complex in the Ramsey investigation, and so this is no exception. So now we're looking at a photograph from the south side of the door going into the hallway leading to the spiral staircase. And to the right wall there is the grating in question. So what could be controversial about a photograph? Well, look at this photograph. It's taken at the exact same location, but yet there's snow on the ground. So how could there be snow in this photograph and no snow in the other photograph? I don't really know. But what I do know, here's another photograph from inside the house, taken on videotape, a still, that shows the snow next to the grating. Now our last photograph from the north side of the house adds a little more confusion also. This is the door, I believe, that John Fernie looked through. In his testimony, he said he looked through a glass door and he saw the ransom note. And you can see where this is by the illustration, the map of the house. So how he saw the ransom note is remarkable. And it's really confusing. Now this video is about the steps of the intruder, but I want to show you one more thing. And before I do, focus on this map where the stairs are. Okay, and now we're going to go, you see where the stairs are, going to the basement. Now we're going to go to the basement. Now you can see the basement isn't under the whole house. It's only on the portion of on the right and bottom there. Now here you can see that the boiler room where the hot water heater was is in the front of the house, right in the middle. And then to the bottom or south is the wine cellar where JonBenet's body was found. And then up at the front of the house to the north part is an empty space there. So when you come down those stairs, there's that little half bath and then that empty space. So you're almost at the front of the house, but not quite. And then if you turn right and go down the hallway, that's to the back of the house. And there's not a lot of talk about the laundry room and that storage area back there. The train room is just a little bit there, and then you go into the train room, and then you head west to the back of the house to that room with the broken window and the grating and the window well. Okay, so now our intruder or intruders has set their mind on Christmas night to get JonBenet. So they drive to the Ramsey house and they park, let's say, in the back alley, and they go to the door with the grating, by the grating. And I'm just going to refer to one guy to make it easy on myself. So there's kind of two scenarios here. The intruder gets to the Ramsey house while the Ramseys at Christmas dinner with the Whites. So let's say about 8. And he enters the house at that time. Or scenario 2, he sees the Ramseys return from the Whites and he enters their house, say, at 11 p.m. that night. Again, this video isn't about naming the suspect or naming or clarifying the time that he entered the house. It's about his steps and what he did. Okay, so the intruder enters through number 1 on this illustration, through here. Okay, and he's there to get JonBenet, but he has to write a ransom note first. So anyway, he comes over here, he goes through here, and he comes up to here, and there's the stool and things are in the way. There's things in the way all the way. He moves those aside and he comes in, and then he heads upstairs and goes up. Okay, so he comes out here through this door, and depending on when he arrived at the Ramsey's house, he's either going to be a little bit concerned that there might be somebody in the house, or very concerned when he comes through this door, because if the Ramseys are upstairs asleep, they could have left their bed and be down here. So anyway, he could either head to the living room or he could head through the kitchen. And so he goes, he gets the pen, he gets the notepad, and he writes the ransom note. And this takes probably, let's say, 30 minutes to write the ransom note. And doing everything to do with the ransom note. Now the intruder knows some information from the ransom note. He knows that it's John Ramsey. He knows that he's married. He knows that he has a daughter. He doesn't necessarily know her name because her name's not in the ransom note. And he knows he's wealthy because he's asking for $118,000, even though that's less than what most people think he should ask for. It's still a lot of money. And he knows John is from the South, or he thinks he's from the South. Okay, and then he puts the note on the spiral suitcase, and then he steps over it and goes upstairs. And then he goes to JonBenet's room and either shocks her with the stun gun and knocks her out, or he just picks her up. And then he either comes downstairs right over here and heads back to the basement, or he comes back down the spiral staircase and back the way he came and then down into the basement. Okay, he goes downstairs with JonBenet and he goes into this hallway here, into the boiler room, and he puts her here and he makes a garrote and he strangles her and kills her. Then she might still be in the white blanket, or he puts her in the white blanket and then he takes her into the wine cellar and puts her body here. Then he leaves, closes the door, turns the wooden block, heads up this way, goes over here, comes into the train room, goes all the way to the back just to leave the same way he came into the house. He realizes he needs a step, grabs the suitcase, puts it up against the wall, enters the window well, and closes the window behind him, but he doesn't latch it, and it's slightly open. Goes out through the grating, and then puts the grating back, and then he heads out to the alleyway, either this way or this way, to his car. Now we know an intruder killed JonBenet because of the unknown DNA. Because there was no unknown DNA on her shirt. There was none on the blanket or on her nightie. The unknown DNA was found under her fingernails and on the drop of blood in her panties. And that's what we know. The only question about this is if that minor contributor to DNA is solely one person or not. There's a question about if it's a combination of two or more people. But even this would still suggest an intruder. So looking at the 3 levels of an intruder from friendly to stranger, it seems like stranger has to be eliminated, because how would the intruder know that John and Patsy slept on the 3rd floor, that their bedroom, either one, they could have separate bedrooms, wasn't on the 2nd floor? And how would he know where JonBenet's room was? He seemed to know exactly where her room was. Okay, and then the 2nd level there almost doesn't work neither, because the intruder knew more information than just being somebody from work. For example, the white blanket. It wasn't just in her bedroom. it was either in the dryer or in a closet. And so the intruder would have had to put that around her and then taken her down to the basement. Or he would have had to gone back upstairs to get the white blanket when he put her in the wine cellar. If you enjoyed this video and haven't subscribed to my channel, I would ask that you do subscribe. It would help me out. Thank you. Well, this ends this episode of Unsolved. And I hope this gave you a free opportunity to look at how an intruder would commit this crime. And tomorrow night, I will present another episode on the Zodiac Killer case. Thank you.